All right, so I know yesterday we did this page in your packet, and um, I actually am going to say, which I know will make some of you happy, that we are gonna just skip this page as well. Um, but I do want to go to page that says practice and homework lesson 6.1 at the top. I think this is, yeah, the last page for this lesson. And then let me zoom in and turn that off. And then let me find my drawing tool. So this is basically the same thing we did yesterday, just more problems. So I figure we could do a few together, and then I'll have you try some on your own. Since you're probably, for the most part, starting to get a hang of it, since it's the same steps over and over, just oftentimes with different numbers. So I'm actually going to leave the first one for you to try because I think we did one similar to that yesterday. And number 3, we did a similar one, but let's jump to number 4. We'll do this one together. So for number 4, you notice already your denominators are different, which is the same as yesterday. So you're gonna do 8 and 2, and then you're gonna list the multiples of both of those numbers. So for 8, we would have 8, 16, 24. Not doing good at drawing with this today. And then for 2, we would go 2, 4, 6, 8, and then I look and see what they have in common. And the smallest they have in common would be 8. If I had kept going, I would have gotten all these other numbers too, but 8's the smallest one. And then I rewrite my fraction, so I had 3 over 8 and 1 over 2. And then we set this up to our new fraction. And our new fraction denominator, our common denominator we just found with our least common multiple is 8. So I would put 8 on the bottom of both of these. And then I would think 8 times what gets me 8, which is just 1. So this one's super simple. It doesn't even change. I multiply by 1 on the top too. And then I end up with 3 over 8. And then the second one, I have 2. 2 times what gets me 8? That would be 4. And then I have to multiply by the same thing on the top, so times 4. And 1 times 4 is 4. So I'm really doing now, if I rewrote my problem, even though I'm running out of room, I'll erase it in a minute, 3/8 plus 4/8. And then we're going to set that up. And since it's adding the denominator to the same, it's going to stay 8. And then I do 4 plus 3 would be 7. So my final answer for this problem would be, not that I have room to write it up here where it goes, oops, would be 7/8. Okay, make sure you get that one written down. I'm going to clear my screen. And then actually let's do number 5 together as well. So we have different denominators of 4 and 8. We list our factors. So really I could just do 4, 8, 12. And then for 8, it would start with 8, 16. And if you notice, 8 is actually already, whoa, so that's a circle, our common denominator. So then I can rewrite my fractions as 1/4 and 5/8. And we're setting this up to be a new fraction. Oh my goodness, I'm struggling today. Okay, there we go. And then we know I want our new denominator to be 8 because that was the least common multiple that we found. So it becomes our common denominator. And then I know 4 times what gets me 8. That would be 4 times 2. So I multiply by 2 on the top as well. And 1 times 2 is also 2. And then same thing for the bottom. 8 times what gives me 8? That would be 8 times 1. So I have to multiply by 1 on the top. And 5 times 1 is 5. Then I could rewrite my problem as 2/8 plus 5/8. And then my denominator is going to stay 8. And 5 plus 2 is 7. So another 7/8. All right. And then I'm going to slide over, so I have to clear this. It freezes my screen. And then the last one, well, at least right here, of these ones I'm going to do with you, because the other ones you should be able to handle on your own. We'll do this one. So we have 3 and 4 as the numbers. And I'm sure many of you already have memorized what the least common multiple would be here, but if not, it's okay. So we have 3, 6, 9, 12, and then same thing here. We would do 4, 8, and 12 is the first one I've noticed. So I know my new denominator needs to be 12. So I'm doing 2/3 and 3/4. And I'm setting them up equal to be a new fraction. And so my new denominator is going to become 12 and 12. So I think 3 times what gets me 12? That would be 3 times 4. So I also have to do times 4 to the top. So now I'm doing 2 times 4, which happens to get me 8. And then 4 times what gets me 12? Well, that would be times 3. And so I have to do times 3 at the top. And 3 times 3 is 9. So then I would have 8 over 12 plus 9 over 12. And my denominator is going to stay 12. And then I'm going to do 8 plus 9. And I know you're going to get a number bigger than 12, but that's okay. So try 8 plus 9 really quick. Okay, you should get 17. And there is a way to change this, and it would actually become a mixed number. So you'd have a whole number and then a fraction left. But we haven't done that yet, and I just want you to practice this skill for right now. So I'm fine with your answer being 17 over 12. But we will learn how to convert this to a mixed number, so it's not an improper fraction anymore, where the top number is bigger than the bottom number, or the numerator is bigger than the denominator, because that's not technically like the correct answer. It is right though. All right, so I'm going to clear that for a minute. Zoom back out so you can see this whole page. Let's jump down to the bottom and then we'll go back. So for this one, I'll give you a clue. It says Brandis bought 1/3 pound of ground turkey and 3/4 pounds of ground beef to make sausages. How many pounds of meat did he buy? So they want to know what 1/3 plus 3/4 would be. So if you want to write this down in your packet right now, you can do that, because he bought 1/3 pound of ground turkey, and then he bought 3/4 of a pound of ground beef. So they just want to know meat in general, how much. So write that down so you can solve it in a little bit using the same exact steps. And then we are going to slide over to this one, and let's read it. It says, to make ribbon and a bow for a hat, Stacy needs 5/6 of a yard of black ribbon and 2/3 of a yard of red ribbon. How much total ribbon does she need? So for this one, we would be doing 5/6 plus 2 thirds, and this word right here helped me know it was addition, plus that's what we've been practicing on this page. I will do this one with you. So we have our denominators of 3 and 6. Many of you probably already know what the common denominator is here. Our least common multiple is 6, which makes it our common denominator. So then I would do 5 sixths and 2 thirds. The new denominator needs to be 6 for both. And then 6, to get 6 is times 1. So I have to do 5 also times 1, which gives me 5. And then 3 to get to 6 would be times 2. So same thing up here, and 2 times 2 would give me 4. So then I have 5 sixths plus 4 sixths. And then my denominator gets to stay, and then 5 plus 4 gives me 9. And then again, this is an improper fraction, but for today, that's an acceptable answer of 9 sixths. Really, it would be 9 sixths yards of ribbon, but 9 sixths is, you know, the big thing I'm looking for. All right, so if I zoom out, let's see if I can remember exactly. So let me scroll down. So I know for you need to do number 2 and number 3. I'm trying to remember if we did number 4 together. I already forgot. So if we didn't do 4, you need to do it. But I know we did, I believe we did 5 and 6. I think we might have done 4 too. But then you need to do 7, 8, and 9. Okay. And find those answers, and then you need to do number 10. I gave you the hint on that one. You're just adding these two numbers together. And then we have number 11 done. I'm going to say we did number 4. If I'm wrong, no, I know I'm right. We did number 4. I remember now. So those 3 should be down that row. The first 2, these 3, and then just one of the story problems. And then you do not need to do number 12. You can cross that right out. And then that's the only page you're going to do for today. So that's really only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 problems that you need to do. And then tomorrow we'll finish the last page and you'll be done with this week's math in the book. All right. Stop my share.